Good evening and welcome to Wax Wednesday here at the Tipsy Muse. Once again, we are produced by Raynemaker Productions. I want to thank them and their team. And Bruce is here from Insurmountable Sounds. I want to give them a plug as well. Thank you very much, guys. Wax Wednesday, it's kind of a celebration of vinyl. We try to focus on local product whenever possible. And so far, we've been pretty successful with a great run of shows thus far with fantastic guests. That will continue tonight. I'm Rob, your host. Full disclosure, I don't know much about hip-hop. I really don't. But I take that with an open mind, and with that, I've got a lot to learn about hip-hop. And I've got a lot of questions to ask, and we're going to ask a very interesting guest tonight. His name is Sean One. He's an MC. He is a producer as well. Very respected in the hip-hop world, and we're going to talk to him about what it's like to create his art in Fredericton, New Brunswick. So welcome aboard to Wax Wednesday here at the Tipsy Muse. I'm Rob. Let's drop the needle. It's Rob with you on Wax Wednesday. That was joint by First Words. It's a local rap group. Represented tonight by Sean One, our guest this evening. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Let me turn you up. Maybe that's
perfect.
Oh, awesome.
There
How
we
about
go.
that?
There we go.
Boom.
Thanks for having me.
We are there. So First Words. Let's backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
Tell us how long First Words has been around. How you guys all met. Your backgrounds. You're from New Brunswick, correct?
From New Brunswick. Born in St. John.
Okay.
And we started a rap group when we were in high school, I guess, so in the 90s.
Right.
But then it took a turn in our first year university. And I reacquainted with an old friend that I had since we were 3 years old.
Okay.
And we started creating music together. And we needed a producer. And this is when the internet was just kind of popping off.
Right.
In 1997, message boards and things, and we found Joe Run.
Okay.
And we started creating music, not as the word name First Words, as a different rap group, and it kind of fell apart. We were young, and we weren't quite sure what we wanted to do. So then above, Adam, from the group First Words, and myself, we decided to create a new group. And I had moved to Fredericton to come to UNB for university, and that's when we met DJ STV. He was here. He was a local here. We knew who he was, and we just kind of started together. And we had Joe Run from before. It was a connection we had before, and so the four of us just kind of came together and started creating music.
This one here, the Andy Mixtape Movement EP, is
Right.
from 2011?
That's from 2008.
2008,
Yeah.
okay. But there was another release that you have with you tonight from even earlier, 2005?
That's right.
So would that be one of the earlier hip-hop releases of this area?
We actually had releases before that as well.
On vinyl?
Not on vinyl.
Yeah.
No, probably on vinyl. These, from what I can tell, yes.
Kind of ground zero.
Kind of ground zero. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of exciting.
Yeah, uncharted territory.
Yeah.
At the time, we took a risk.
Yeah.
By putting stuff on vinyl. In rap music, vinyl is always present. People said there was this resurgence of vinyl. That might be for other genres of music, but I mean, you know this. I mean, you're a collector yourself. You know that music never was stopped being made on vinyl.
That's right.
But rap music, it plays a very large part.
Yeah.
And so we came up with the idea in 2005 to release this one. And we took a chance putting it on a 7-inch record.
Okay, that's just a collaboration of the two of you, Joe
That's
Run
right, yeah. And so each has a side. So one side is Joe Run's way, and on the other side is Sean One's way.
Split single.
We split the record, yeah.
Very nice.
And it was a big risk.
I was going to ask you though. Generally, in urban formats, it's often a 12-inch.
That's right.
And usually spinning at 45.
Yeah.
Because the signal seems like it pops a little more,
Right.
and the grooves are wider.
Right.
I was kind of curious why you chose the 7-inch format.
We tried to predict what was going to come down the road in the future. And our DJ at the time, Joe Run, was fascinated with 45s.
Yeah.
And he collected 45s, and he said, I think 45s are going to be very popular in the near future.
Okay.
And that was in 2005. And it's taken a few years, of course. But now there are DJs who are just playing sets of 45 records. Because,
Seriously?
yeah, what kind of flexes your record collection a little bit.
Okay.
Right? Like this is what I've got, and I've got it on 45.
And let's face it, they're a lot lighter.
They're cheaper to send through the mail, too.
All right, we got more with Sean One coming up here. I'm going to play a track. You are actually featured as the MC on this one.
Yes.
One of the best.
Yes.
All right.
This is true.
You're a very busy guy. Like you not only MC but you produce as well.
That's right.
Internationally.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
How deep is your discography?
With music under my own name, the group First Words, and things that other people I've produced for would probably be close to 100 releases.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And how many of those would be on vinyl?
I'd say probably 25
Yeah.
releases.
You say
on vinyl.
these 7 inches are fairly collectible right now. You
Yeah.
know, it's an interesting. It's a great feather in your cap that they're wanted.
That's right.
They're sought after.
They are.
So.
Yeah. It's also because of the other members in the group, but yeah, absolutely. They're well sought after.
Well, I'll cue up one of the best.
Okay.
Why don't you set it up for us? Tell us a little bit about this song.
One of the best. The name of the song is just a play off words of my rap name, Sean One. So one of the best, and a lot of rap music is braggadocio. I'm better than you, and these are the reasons why. And we kind of went with that for that song. And I was actually nominated for an East Coast Music Award. That song.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, for
That's incredible.
single of the year.
Sean One, part of First Words, and more with him coming up. This is one that he's emceeing on. One of the best with Sean One, our special guest tonight. One of the best for Wax Wednesday here at the Tipsy Muse. And we're back on Wax Wednesday. It's Rob and our special guest, Sean One, of the Fredericton rap group First Words, a band that was a first of its kind in this area. And we're awfully glad to have them here, or have Sean here with us tonight. And you've brought other stuff, too. We're going to dive into other releases. We're not just going to stick with this one. We're going to sample some of your other work as well coming up here in a little bit. Let's talk a little bit more about your heritage or your introduction to hip-hop and rap.
Rap music?
Yeah, because, correct me if I'm wrong, this kind of has an old-school feel to it, right?
Yeah.
And that's by design.
That is by design. It is. My introduction to rap music, it comes from different places at the time. I mean, my musical journey started in singing in choir in school.
Yeah.
And so I always had, music was part of my life. I played the clarinet, believe it or not, for many years in a jazz band throughout school.
You play guitar as well.
I play guitar. I play several different instruments. I've just self-taught. But my introduction to rap music would be the Beastie Boys.
Okay.
It would have been skateboarding when I was growing up and hearing the Beastie Boys and being like, I think I could actually probably do that.
Yeah.
And I did it on my own and hid it from a lot of people at the time. Other than the Beastie Boys, there weren't very many white rappers around.
Yeah.
Vanilla Ice, but he was made fun of pretty heavily.
Heavily.
And so I thought maybe I could.
And with good reason, right?
Right. Yeah. I thought maybe that I would like to try to do this, and it didn't become until high school. I had a friend who moved from Trinidad, and he was very heavily involved in rap music. And he saw my CD collection one time, and he kind of looked at me funny and said, you listen to all this? And I said, yeah, absolutely. They said, do you write raps? And I kind of, hid my face a little bit and said, yeah, I do.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And then he said, well, let me hear some. And this was in grade 11, so I've been 1995, end of 1994, 1995. And so that was kind of my introduction to then actually creating my own music at that time.
And what would feed your, where would you get your music from?
From other rap music. So my inspiration was directly from rap music.
Okay.
And from the time, most of it was coming from New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Through mail-outs, old school that way?
Yeah, magazines.
Well, you were mentioning yourself that, the 7-inch single is kind of a signature of the punk era and,
That's right.
and the DIY thing, and that's totally what this is as well, right?
It is.
So there are a lot of similarities.
There are a lot of similarities between rap music and punk. And when we were growing up in St. John, there wasn't much of a rap scene, so the scene that we kind of belonged to was the punk rock scene.
Okay.
And they welcomed us with open arms. They really did. We played many shows with punk rock bands. We would be the opening act.
Great.
And so we would see their merchandise, how they did it, and they'd put it together themselves. And so when we created and put the records out, we needed artwork. And so we kind of did it ourselves and photocopied and used comic book sleeves as the plastic and just put it all together. Yeah.
Right. Now, when you mentioned the bravado and the sense of humor that is a part of your music,
Right.
What informs that? Like when I think of the era of the Beastie Boys, the early stuff, a band that I did actually listen to these guys at the time was De La Soul,
Right.
and I thought they had a great grasp of humor.
They did.
And production values.
Absolutely.
And literally lifting their samples off of other.
Right, exactly.
Back when it was sort of the Wild West.
That's right. It was the door was kind of open at that time. It's been closed since then. But De La Soul was a huge influence for us. Tribe Called Quest, huge, massive influence for us. So that style of music that was coming out at that time in the 90s, we really kind of followed suit because that's what we listened to.
Now, when we both have the record store, Second Spin, that
We
used to
both
be
worked there, that's
we
right,
both worked
yeah.
there part-time, and our paths would cross, but often when I saw you when I was working,
Yeah.
man, you'd come in with a pack of guys like that would be like 5 deep, and you'd just hit the bins like an infestation of locusts. You'd just be all over the store and flip, 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 flip. And you bring up, each of you would bring up lots of records, and you'd want to hear the first 10 seconds of songs. And you really made me work those days.
I know,
I'm
sorry
telling you.
about that.
No, it was a lot of fun. But what was that some of the guys that were involved
They
in?
would be some of the guys that would either be in the group or who I'd be working with or touring with at the time. We'd stop here in the city and I'd say, let me take you down to the record store because buying records is such a massive part of hip hop.
Yeah.
That's where we get a lot of our ideas are from old jazz, soul, funk, gospel, rock and roll records.
Yeah.
And so we're lifting pieces of music that don't belong to us.
And the more obscure, the better.
That's right.
Right.
Because you're trying to see that this is what I found. It's
Yeah.
in rap music. It's the whole basis that it started on is oh, that's cool. You can do that. Guess what I can do? What I can do it better.
Right.
Unfortunately, now music isn't like that anymore with rap music. Now it's I think I can do that. And so everybody's just making the same style of music now. They're not trying to one-up the people that were there before them. And so that's what we always try to do is if you're going to do that, that's cool. We'll just try our best to do it better.
And a great sense of community, right?
It can be,
It can be.
Yeah.
Did you find it a little cutthroat at times,
At
too?
times it can be, yeah.
Really?
It was such a small scene in New Brunswick.
And everybody would
Atlantic
know
Canada.
everybody, and-
Everyone knows everybody, so you're all kind of trying to fight for the little bit of fame that there is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would your, like, just to throw names out there,
Yeah.
would your paths cross with a classified? Or?
The first person that I recorded with in 1997 was Classified and Joe Run in his basement apartment that didn't have any windows in Halifax.
No kidding.
Yeah, no, I've known Classified for as long as he's been
Seriously?
making music. Yep, Buck 65, Scratch Bastard,
Yeah.
all the same fellas.
And
yeah.
those guys are still at it, right?
They're still very much active. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's Halifax, right?
That's
World of
Halifax.
difference between Halifax and Fredericton, I would.
And
or
we were
New
introdu-
Brunswick, period.
Yeah, there wasn't much of a scene in.
Mm-hmm.
We were in St. John as the group before First Words, and we were called Vet Crew. And there was one other group of younger people than us in the city, and we knew of one rap group here in Fredericton. Their name was Illogic.
Okay.
And that's who Steve DJ'd for. He was a DJ
Right.
in Illogic.
Yeah.
And so other than that, there wasn't too many other rap groups. And then they started to pop up. Moncton had a group called Element Control.
Mm-hmm.
And we all knew each other. And so if we played a show, those are the people that we would invite to come and play.
That's one. If something really stuck out from the Capitol Project, the movie,
Right.
or the film that came out not that long ago, the point that was really made to me very boldly was that hip hop we've got a thriving scene around here, but a lot of people don't even know it exists.
It's
like
true.
it's so splintered off. It seems like every town has their rapper or
That's
has
right.
their MC, right?
They do.
So that's obviously a hurdle that they've got to work with, or is there any way to draw that community tighter, or?
There's still that kind of that feeling of competition a little bit too within
Yeah,
rap
so-
music. Other genres of music, they're a little more welcoming and they want to help each other out a little bit more.
Yeah.
In rap music, there is still a little bit of a competition.
Okay.
Even when DJs first started, in the late 70s, DJing at parks, they would cover up the albums that they were playing. They would soak their vinyl and peel the labels off them because they would hear the break, the funky part, and they'd be like, "What's that?" And they'd be looking at the turntable, but there would be nothing on the record because they didn't want someone else to be playing the same songs. And so that whole mentality from rap music has started right from the get-go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to play something from this. You've picked the song out. It is If I Wasn't So Lazy.
If I Wasn't So Lazy.
Let's set that up while I cue it up.
All right. This is a song from the Joe Runsway, Sean Wansway vinyl that came out in 2005. And this song is produced by Joe Run. And it's a song at the time I felt I was probably able to do a whole lot more than what I was actually doing, and because I was a tad bit lazy. And so, I mean, it's a true story. Yeah.
All right. Life imitates art, and this is this would be a Sean One track.
This is a Sean One track.
Sean One track. Okay, here we go. It's Wax Wednesday.
We come out the year a little something different. All right.
Sean One, and If I Wasn't So Lazy on Wax Wednesday. Welcome aboard. Very special guest. Sean is. This has been highly educational for me.
Perfect.
Thank you very much for coming on in. Education is kind of a thing for you, though, isn't it? Right?
It is.
Yeah, you're a teacher.
I am a school teacher.
Okay.
Yeah.
What grade?
I teach grade 5.
Grade 5.
Yeah.
Now they must think you're the coolest teacher ever, right?
Most days.
Yeah.
Most days. Yeah.
Are you one to incorporate music into?
I do. Yeah.
The curriculum?
I do.
And
as often as I can, actually.
And they would think hip hop was like, wow.
Yeah.
My teacher does that.
Yeah, especially during the month of April when it's Poetry Month. So we always do a unit where we do
Okay.
create some rap music. I actually have created rap songs in the classroom, and we've recorded them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, burned CDs for every kid in the class, so they can take something with them
They'd
at
be
the end.
super thrilled,
at the
right?
end of the week. Yeah, that's our final project. Yeah.
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 Well, how have you noticed any natural talents?
Last year was the first year where I had a student in my class, and he had his own YouTube channel, and he was creating rap songs and making beats on GarageBand on an iPad
And he's
making
in
little
the 5th
music
grade.
beats. He was in the 5th grade. Yeah.
Many views?
No, but his classmates,
get a
his
start.
classmates all knew who he was and what he was doing.
Yeah.
And whenever he finished his work early, I would let him go to the back of the classroom with another couple of kids, and they would make beats on GarageBand, and I would go back and show them, well, you could do this or this. And I didn't really want to give them too much direction, but any technical issue that they had, I would help them over that hump.
In the break, I said I apologize for not knowing so much about you.
Right.
But you say you kind of it's just something you do, right?
It is.
You're not really very in your face about it.
I'm not. No, and I say it in a lot of my songs. It's not a hobby. It's a habit.
Okay.
So I mean, for years, I would spend hours and hours just kind of behind a closed door creating music on my own. Yeah. Or for somebody else that knew who I was at the time. Yeah. They'd call me and ask me, and if they were paying, then I was making them beats for them. So it worked out great.
First Words, the group, is inactive, fair term?
It's a fair term. Yeah. We are slightly inactive at the moment. Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, we're still.
It's just a break?
It's just a break, I guess. Yeah. So it kind of happens. I kind of went my own way and started teaching school 12 years ago, and there's engineers and electricians, and so we were all kind of doing our own thing as we just kind of grew up, I guess. Yeah.
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 But you still get together.
We
you
still get
talk
together.
About music. You
we still get
listen
together.
To records.
Yep. We do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And create as much as we can, but it's not as often as it once was.
Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Sean.
You're very welcome.
You suggested to go out, talk to my manager.
Talk to my manager.
Did you have a manager?
We did. His name was John Cleveland.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Was he a good manager?
He was a decent manager. Yeah, he really got us started and showed us that, he put a little confidence into us.
Yeah,
and
a cheerleader.
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
Opened up a few doors for us, too.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Was his background hip-hop?
No, not at all. His background was punk rock, actually, and heavy
Yeah.
metal. Yeah.
There you go.
And so when he saw us, he took a chance on us, and it really worked out.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk to my manager, and I guess I've asked you to kind of set it up, but you kind of already have. So
Yeah.
just give me a little rap while I cue this up.
Just a little rap.
Right off the top of your head.
Right
Can you
off
give me
the top,
one?
right
Like
off
no
the top,
pressure or
right off
anything
the top of my head.
Well, you know, come on. It's
Okay.
just some words.
So you can clearly see the difference. I push these limits without falling flat. I can't be found on a page of an almanac. If that was multiple choice, then give me all of that. I used to call collect, and they would call me back. How about that? Does that sound all right? Does that sound all right? Something like that.
Thank you very much, Sean
Thank-
One.
thank-
You're
thank-
awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Wax Wednesday, everybody.
Wednesday.
Thanks for coming out.